Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning, where you get your original Celtic news every morning. Anyway, let's move on to some Celtic news this morning. I'm going to go through some headlines, and I'm going to see what you take of the headlines in question. And we're going to talk about Nico Kuhn. Nico Kuhn is the player that's coming to Celtic, and it looks like he's going to be our first signing of the summer. But are we getting hoodwinked as Celtic fans now? Brendan Rodgers spoke about quality, bringing in quality, and I said that the word should maybe be experience. When you bring in age and experience, quality tends, well, it can come with it. Sometimes it can't come with it, but I thought the squad maybe needed that little bit more experience, especially when we went into the Champions League. If you look at the mistakes that was in the Champions League this season, I definitely think that the word should have been experience, what we're looking for. But I may have been wrong, and I feel a bit hoodwinked by Celtic this morning. Bringing in Nico, it's not a player of great experience, and the fact that they bought him for, and the reason I'm saying this, hang with me with this one. He's 24-year-old. They bought him for $500,000. They're trying to sell him for $2 million. He's got a current market value of $1.5 million when he's 24-year-old. And the reason I'm saying that this is Celtic are about to sell a player from the B team, and we want 300,000 to 400,000 for him as a prospect. Are we bringing in another prospect at 24-year-old? He's not a prospect at 24-year-old, but it's not the experience that I thought we were maybe looking for as a Celtic fan. Is it the quality? Tell me in the comments. Is it the quality that we're looking for? Is he better than people that we already have at the club? It is the way that Celtic go. Anyway, Celtic, there's one headline that I'm going to talk about. Celtic have been dealt a blow. This is the headline. Celtic dealt transfer blow as striker satisfied at current club.
Smell shite.
Brendan Rodgers is yet to make his first signing in January transfer window, says Martin Simpson. And then he goes on to say that it may not feel like the January transfer window has been open long, but it's already 2 weeks into the month. Needless to say, it's not been the busiest for Celtic. The Hoops are still bringing in their first new faces, whilst across the road, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and then goes on to say that one player is happy at Aberdeen. Of course he's happy at Aberdeen. He said nobody's came in for him. What an absolutely stupid article. The players come out and said, Bojan Mavovsky has come out and said, like, there was a lot of talk between me and going to Celtic. He said, but I'm happy at Aberdeen. Of course you're happy at Aberdeen. You're going to come out and say that to pacify your club and pacify your fans. And the fact that Celtic have not come in with an offer for the player. Now, let's put that one to bed and move on. There's another one. Now, I did say that they're going to try and do everything possible in the media to drive Leila Bada out the club. And the Herald are doing it this morning again with Graham McGarry. Graham McGarry, he's coming on. The View from Israel on Celtic, the Green Brigade, and Abada. That's all I'm going to go into it because there's no point, is there? There's actually no point. It's a nothing article. The player is at Celtic. He's not going anywhere until at least the summer. So it's a completely nothing article trying to drive a wedge between a player and the club again in the media. There is good news on the Nico Kuhn transfer. His work permit has been granted to secure the Rapid Vienna player, and will welcome him with open arms, and he'll be a welcome addition to the squad. But I do feel that Brian and a player that were haggling over the price between 1.5 and 2 million, it's not the. I still think back to Brendan Rodgers. For over a month before the transfer window opened, Brendan Rodgers spoke about bringing in quality. And I thought maybe the word that Brendan should have been using was experience, because it's experience that let us down. It is you can't say that the players that were brought in didn't have the quality. Maybe they didn't have the quality. I mean, what do I know? I'm just sitting here trying to talk nonsense to you all. That's not nonsense. It's obviously the Celtic news, but I'm just giving you my opinion. The channel is the One Celtic Fans View. Is it the type of quality that we've been looking for? The fact that he is 24-year-old and he's only been sold for $500,000 in his career. To me, it doesn't shout experience or quality. Anyway, there is Scott Brown's obviously been talking about the fact that he thinks that Celtic will still win the league. Barry Ferguson took to the Daily Rangers and he said, Scott Brown dismissing Rangers made me laugh, and I'm not writing this through my blue tinted spectacles. On that note, as they say back in Fife, I ken it, you ken it, and even Anyway, if you don't know that joke, it's an old one. Sorry, right, we'll move on. Anyway, back to the article. He's basically saying that my old teammate gave me the chuckle when I picked up the Daily Record. Nobody buys the Daily Record. And mate, if you buy the Daily Record and actually go to the shop and buy it, you're probably one of our last few. Anyway, we move on from that. Who wants to talk about him? Right. Fabrizio Romano, there was a headline that grabbed my attention this morning. Now, I've got a lot of respect for a lot of the Celtic fan media, but a headline like this does absolutely nothing because it is never going to happen. It is never going to happen. Fabrizio Romano confirms that Al Hattad interested in Atletico winger. Your move, Celtic. Now, I do have a lot of respect for the guys that write all these blogs, and they do a lot of work behind the background to try and get the information. They obviously took this one from Twitter. It's understood that Al Hattad are working on a deal to sign a guy from Atletico Madrid, which will then free up Jota to leave the club. It's your move, Celtic. Go and get Jota back. It's never going to happen. Celtic sold Jota for over 25 million. They couldn't afford his right lace on his boot as it stands just now. There's no chance that Jota's going to come back, and there's no chance that Celtic will then pay him 45 grand a week to come back to Celtic. Without there, we're getting mentioned with a winger that we're bringing in for 1.5 million. Tells you everything that you need to know about the way that Celtic is going right now with the transfer policies. But we all knew this. We knew this, and Brendan Rodgers said it. He knows the model of the club. And so I just think it's an article that maybe raises hopes to some Celtic supporters. And but I've got to shut it down. Sorry, I'm no disrespect to the guy that wrote it, but he goes on to say this means that Celtic could capitalise on the Saudis' latest sign and move by bringing Jota back to the club. With Dyson Maida, Lila Bada and Luis Palma clearly ahead in Brendan's estimations, the Portuguese attacker would represent real quality in the first team should he return. He's never going to return. We're making a move for a German winger that is going to cost us 1.5 to 2 million. We're haggling over the price. It's got, I'm not even going to say it because I get slated every time I do say it, but he's haggling over the price. Oh, look, there's a nice robin on my window. Oh, little red breast. Anyway, I digress. It's never going to happen. And it's those type of articles don't really do us any favour. You know, Brendan Rodgers was asked about bringing Jota back at the AGM, and he put a little smile on his face and a nudge and a wink and said, "Oh, I'll ask Michael Nicholson nicely." That's never going to happen. Never. So let's put it to bed. Jota's never coming back to Celtic because Celtic could not afford him. And that's it. The other Celtic headlines that are out there are just complete nonsense this morning. And there's one that says Celtic should be tracking. I'm not going to go with that one. But let's get Nicholas Cunn in the door. Let's see what he can do. I will fully back the player, as we fully back every player. I mean, I backed Gustav Lagerbielke to the hilt on this channel, and Celtic are now getting rid of him. They're trying to get him out the door quicker than he came in. I thought the young guy had a lot of potential, but then it is just potential. Now we're bringing in a 24-year-old player that is only been sold for $500,000 at 24. We've sold players. We're in the middle of trying to sell Rocco Vata for 400 grand. Let's put things into perspective as a Celtic fan. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Do you feel hoodwinked by Celtic this transfer window? The fact that they boasted about the fact that we had 72 million in the bank. Brendan Rodgers, for over a month before the transfer window opened, spoke openly about trying to bring quality into the squad. Quality, in my eyes, was, and I did say it publicly on this channel, I says maybe the word they should be using is experience. Bringing in a little bit of more experienced players to help the players on that are younger within the squad. Bringing in a player that's 24, you're thinking, okay, maybe. But the fact that he's only sold for $500,000 through his career, he was proclaimed as the next Messi a few years ago, but that's obviously never transpired, because if he was even half as good as Messi, he would have sold for tens of millions by now. But it hasn't. Anyway, on that note, kind of a fantastic day. It is. What day is it? It's Friday, isn't it? It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. What are you doing tonight? I'm going out with my sister, her fella, and the missus. So on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.